Welcome back. That was bad. Welcome back, guys, to episode 21 of the Panther Soccer podcast, the Riley Chesna episode. Honestly, she might have the goal of the year right now. Either her or Denise, as of today, she might go down with the goal of the year. What do you have to say about Riley Chesna?
Well, honestly, I don't know her too much. Obviously, transferred from Long Island, I believe.
Yep.
At the start of last spring, so technically like an off-season transfer, I suppose. So she got a few minutes in the spring. To be blunt, didn't impress me too much, but she's played really well, I think, on the team this fall. She's got a great goal from way out deep.
All the way out from the dome.
Yeah, basically. I mean, it was crazy. So I think she's a nice addition. She's one of our bench players, so our substitutes. So she comes on, usually playing defense.
Yeah, I don't really need to say much more. I don't know. I feel like she just adds to our depth of defenders, because I feel like defender-wise, we're pretty much going to stick with our four, with Caroline, Allison, Olivia, and Maddie Solaric. But when she does step in, she's good enough to be a starter.
Yeah.
Honestly, it sucks that she is a defender, because like I said, we're not going to sub them out ever. But when she does step in, she just fits the role really well.
Yeah, I think she's got some nice speed on her, and definitely stepped in, played pretty well when Maddie Solaric was injured just a week or two ago. So yeah.
Played the entire game against UT Martin. Looked really good there. And yeah, stepped into the game late, I believe, against Drake, to try and add to the offensive pressure at that wing spot. Or did Allison get hurt in that game? I don't remember. We like to forget about the Drake game.
Yeah.
But let's talk about some positive games that we have had recently. This past Thursday, so a week ago, we played UIC, our toughest home opponent of the year.
Yep.
And my gosh, what a game. You were there. I was not. I was forced to go to a wedding. Not forced. I chose to go to a wedding. And, well, I had to be there. But besides the point, we looked really good. From what I saw on TV, I'm sure you have a better take on it than I do, being at the game. What are your thoughts?
So, I got there just a few minutes late.
What?
I
You
had
showed up
something
late?
before, like 5 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I
It's
was rehearsing. So, I saw most of the first half, and it felt like UIC's ball game. They were putting on pressure, getting some shots.
This was the first half, right?
Yes.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, the first half was UIC's game. They probably should have got one. But obviously, we go into halftime tied 0-0. Second half, UNI, whatever we did changed at halftime, it worked. It felt like we were in control. The second half, Maddie Isis gets a goal in the 59th minute from Olivia Knuffley with the assist, and we go up 1-0. The score stood that way for the rest of the game, but it felt like we had a couple more chances, didn't convert them, but that's okay.
That's fair. No, so watching the game on ESPN Plus, it seemed like the wind was brutal on the one side. And I remember telling myself, I'm like, as long as we get out of the first half without giving up a goal, we have it in the bag to score one, because we'll be going towards the wind instead of against it. Like, yeah, like, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, I hope. I don't know, that first half. Caitlin had to make 4 saves in the first half, something like that?
Yeah, some of them were quite good.
Oh, yeah. I think Caitlin played her best game so far this year against UIC.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, she made some really, really solid saves.
Yeah, I remember texting you after the game being like, because I had to stop watching it around the 75th, 76th minute of the game. I remember texting you being like, hey, no, even if Caitlin gives up a goal, have Caitlin as player of the match. She played really well from what I saw, and then Maddie Eastis as well, and then I'm sure I chose a third. Denise, maybe. Giselle. I don't remember too much, but whoever the third option was, I'm sure was great if we chose the third one. I don't remember.
I think it was just her and Eastis.
Maddie Eastis has been playing really well so far this year. She is just so much fun to watch.
What a standout player.
No, so actually, Bruce Erickson was interviewed for a podcast through UNI earlier this week. The episode came out today as we're recording, and yeah, he really hyped up Maddie Eastis on the podcast, and there's so much positivity towards Maddie Eastis right now, especially coming off a whole year of basically being injured, and not a whole year, but
most of it.
When she did come into play, she was just, you could tell she wasn't very comfortable, and yeah, it took her a while to adjust.
At Indiana State game last year, she did not play great. I think that was her first game back from injury, and you could tell that she's still rusty / not recovered.
Right.
So it's great to have her back. I think she has 5 or 6 goals now on the season. I know 5 for sure, but I forget if I'm thinking with or without this game. So
I think it just said it 5.
5. Yeah.
Wait, did she score against Southern Illinois? No, she did not.
Nope.
Never mind, because that was 2 goals by Knefley and
we'll get there.
Denise. My bad. I just spoiled the whole podcast. Gosh darn it.
Yeah. So, one thing, there's a couple notable things looking at the stat sheet. First off, we only played 6 subs, which is a little low for our team.
Oh yeah, especially with how deep our bench is.
Yeah. So I wonder what kind of tactical thing. Obviously, you're going to a Sunday game versus Southern Illinois.
No.
And I think at this point in the season, when pretty much for the rest of the season, barring this week, we're playing 2 games a week, 3 games in every 7 days, technically, but 2 games in a week. So I think that the more we use our bench, and it's a good bench this year.
Oh, 100%.
So, I mean, need we talk about Macy Smith more? But
she's not going to play against Indiana State this week. Oh, shoot, I spoiled it again.
Oh
I broke the 4th wall. Wait, this is a podcast. How do you break the 4th wall on a podcast?
Oh, man. But I think the more we use our bench in these games, the better off we're going to be. We can trust our subs very much so. I don't think there's a single player this year that when they get subbed out, I'm like, we better wait until their starter comes back. Because I'm not gonna lie, in the past couple years, there's been those couple players who are just like, yeah, I'm not sure about this sub, but this year it's like, yeah, bring them on. You know,
100%.
Our bench is great, so it's something to really look forward to. And one final thing, I don't know if you caught this on the live stream. There's an incident in the second half where Allison took a boot to the face. I don't know how this is not a red card. It's textbook endangering the safety of another player, which is grounds for a red card. I mean, I don't know. It's a kick with force, a high kick with force to the face. Like, I don't understand how that's not endangering the safety of a player. So,
so McKenna Shaw, shame on you for cleating Allison. Shame on you. Wait, that's so mean. Oh well. I think you deserve a red though. If you're listening.
She gets away with the yellow. I don't think that was the right call, to be honest with you.
Right.
But yeah, gets away with the yellow, and we do end up still winning, so it's fine. Maybe could have got one more goal though if we were up a man. Yeah. So that's all. I just wanted to mention that because I just want to let the people know I disagree with that ref's call. So
yeah, I think it was after that play where my friend Joe, because it was Joe's wedding, I had to stay at his place. Joe comes upstairs and he's like, "Hey Brady, we have neighbors. Can you keep it down?" I think that was the play that he came upstairs for. I was like, "Hey, calm down."
That's funny.
All right. Are you looking up the rule?
I'm trying to just find like the direct quote so they can know I'm not just pulling this out of my
behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're endangering a player from the other team, then
Serious foul play. Here it is. Any tackle or challenge that endangers the safety of an opponent or uses excessive force or brutality, must be sanctioned as serious foul play, which is grounds for a red card. And so I don't understand how kicking someone with a decent amount of force in the face, that would be called a challenge that endangered the safety of our player because you are kicking her in the face. That is serious foul play. That should be a red card. So that's straight out of the laws of the game. I'm not making this up. You can interpret that law the way you want to, but I think that challenge falls right into that description of serious foul play.
Oh well. It is what it is. Game's over. We won.
Yeah.
It just sucks that like we didn't get that call because like the win would have been easier because that was a stressful game.
It was.
It was a good game though.
Yeah.
Stressful but good.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, should we move on to the better game? Well, I don't know about better, but the other game that happened this past weekend.
Yeah.
Southern Illinois. We beat Southern Illinois by a decisive score of 3-0. And honestly, that was just a great team effort.
Yeah. We're just looking at our bench, deep bench play today. Or not today, that game. 3 phenomenal goals to give us the win. We scored early, so I like keeping control of the game. Our team is scoring early a lot this year. I'd actually be kind of interested to go back and look and see how many times he scored in the first 15 minutes, the opening. That's not a quarter of the game, sorry. 6th of the game.
5th, yeah.
Yeah, so like opening 15, 20 minutes. We've scored a lot of goals in that time, and I think that's great to get up, puts the other team in disarray right off the gate. So, you want to go over the scoring summary for this one?
Okay, if you really want me to. So Olivia Kneffley opens up the scoring with 9 minutes into the game with a goal, a beautiful pass from Olivia Bull. We were watching it before this, and it was just right past like what 3 or 4 defenders for Southern Illinois.
So good.
Olivia Kneffley. There's 2 Olivias in this play. Olivia Kneffley just running to the ball and just perfect kick in, and all right, so that's 1-0, and then it was quiet for the rest of the half. I felt like we controlled the play. We just couldn't get our shots on goal.
Yeah.
Because never mind, we only had 5 shots, I guess, in the first half, which that doesn't
seems low.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, we dominated possession. I felt like I wasn't too concerned about. I don't know. I wasn't too concerned at all that first half, and then second half, 7 minutes in, Denise Camara. I'm not going to pronounce your last name. Sorry, Denise. But with the goal of the year, potentially, at least top 2 as of right now.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. So after I should explain the goal. The goal, she kicked it outside of the box. It was, curved in. It's like a goal you would see in the Prem. Like, honestly. Like, we're talking Jamie Vardy type of goal here. Just beautiful. But, after the goal, or when the ball was going in, the goalkeeper, Chantel, I can't think of her last name, Chantel Sims, I believe. Goalkeeper for SIU landed very awkwardly and did something, I don't know what, but was basically forced to leave the game, unfortunately. And SIU didn't have a backup goalkeeper, so they had to put in their tallest player. I can't recall their tallest player.
Her name's Mackenzie Bunch.
Man.
Also their lead striker.
Yeah. Sounds like a bunch of fun there. That was bad.
Bunch of fun.
Yeah, because anyways,
here's the goal.
Ugh.
Absolute laser to the top left. But the keeper immediately grabs her lower back. Not good, especially a non-contact injury like that. More often than not, I feel like non-contact injuries are almost worse.
Yeah.
Because you do something that just your body messes up. So.
Yeah. So Prayers go out to Chantel. I think that's her name. I could be way off.
Upper 90.
Yeah, upper 90 goal by Denise. And so yeah, after they put in the basically emergency keeper, immediately I knew we had it in the bag. And at that point, we as a student section, like, we were pretty toxic. I'm gonna be honest. Like, our toxicity out of 15 was at about a 14.5. We, after the second goal, after they got Chantel off the field, we notched it down to about a 2.5, 3 maybe. And then the third goal on the emergency keeper by Olivia Kneffley, assisted by Allison. I don't remember much of the play. I think it was a scramble in front of the net. I could be wrong with that. Anyway,
I just had the replays pulled up.
But literally, third goal, and SIU parked the bus the rest of the game, basically to not get blown out any further. And solid 3-0 win over SIU, a team that was very competitive last year. They're off to a rough start this year.
Very rough start.
You know what? They could turn it around. They had talent. They just their transitions were just terrible.
They're the only team with 0 points in conference play.
Yeah, and unfortunately, if they don't have their keepers come back, yikes.
Yeah.
Yikes.
It could be a rough time there down south.
Down in Carbondale. Sorry, Dylan Chambers. I think he watches my episodes. I don't know. But sorry, Dylan Chambers, student section leader at SIU. Your soccer team is off to a rough start. But
we've been there.
Yes, we have. But this isn't the SIU soccer podcast or the King Tut's Army podcast. This is the Panther soccer podcast. So let's get back to UNI. All right, now this weekend we got one game against Indiana State.
Yep.
A team that we played a very competitive game with last year. I thought we played really well against them, and then after our game, they decided to take a dump in their bed and played really badly the rest of the year. So it made our tie against them not look very good.
Yeah. So
even though I thought that was the game of the year for us, like, we played really well.
Yeah, we did play good against them. The final of that game was a 1-1 draw. I was away, obviously.
Best stadium in the conference. Hot take, I know, but best stadium in the conference, Indiana State.
It's kind of cool. It's small, but also it has the feel of big, like, because the footprint of the stadium is really not that big.
Right.
But I really like it. Okay, I don't know how to explain it here, but it's cool because
I'll put pictures.
The stands are just so tall, and you're looking into the field, but the field feels small when you look down at it. It's a weird perspective thing. Anyways, tied them 1-1 on the road last year. We have not beaten this team since 2019, actually, coming off 2 losses and a tie against them. But like Brady said, I think we played them well last year. They are stinking it up this year.
They're currently third to last right now in the conference.
Yep. They have one singular point. That was a tie 0-0 versus Belmont. Their only other result was a 2-0 loss to Valparaiso.
I think it's still too early to tell how good this team is. Good or bad this team is. I don't think it's a game we look past. Oh, plus their 0-0 tie in Nashville. That's a tough away opponent, I feel like. We'll get to experience that later on this year at Belmont. But, 2-0 loss to Valpo. Yeah, that makes sense.
That does make sense.
Yeah, Valpo's a good team. I think we determine whether or not Indiana State will be a true challenge after the Drake game at 6 o'clock today. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Well, at the same time, they only have one non-conference win.
Right.
So.
And a new coach.
Who's off to a very slow start, as we can all tell.
Yeah, I believe it's Paul Lawrence, the coach, who has a pretty good track record from what I read, but obviously, the slow start here. Right now, as of recording, they've only played 2 games in the conference. They've had their bye week, or bye match day already. We are having ours today. So this Sunday game actually marks, I believe, match day 5 in the conference, which is the halfway point. It will not necessarily be the halfway point for UNI, because this will be our 4th game, but match day 5, we're halfway done with conference play already. which is
Mind-boggling.
crazy to think about.
Yeah, so the only game I'm seeing from Indiana State that we can compare to is they tied UT Martin 1-1, and we beat them 3-1. And honestly, that game wasn't too tough for us. So, but at the same time, UT Martin was playing against us with bus legs because they had to travel from Terre Haute, whatever it's called, the home of, not the home, but that's where Larry Bird played basketball at. The home of Larry Bird, let's go with that. And, not actually, but yeah, and then had to travel a day, probably left on Friday to get to UNI Saturday, whatever, play a game. So only a 2-day turnaround. I don't know. So it was easy on our end.
Yeah.
UT Martin, but.
And this will be their second game in a row on the road. As we mentioned, they play Drake Thursday today, and then they will play UNI Sunday. So they're staying in hotels, short bus ride between here and Drake, but
Oh, yeah.
you don't have the comfort of being at home. You know, gotta be eating out and stuff like that. So hopefully this little tour of Iowa leaves them tired, and hopefully we could get a win. I feel like the way our team's playing this year, I can't not expect a win against this team at home.
As of right now, we're undefeated at home. No losses,
Yep.
no ties.
Yep, 7-0.
Yeah. So let's make it 8-0 at home. Show that UNI women's soccer has the best home field advantage in the NCAA.
Yeah,
I think that'd be sick to have that title.
yeah, that would be pretty crazy.
That'd be huge for the Panther soccer prowlers. Any last words before we close out the podcast? This was a really good episode, I feel like.
Yeah. Well, I think just reviewing the standings here as they sit 3 match days in. Missouri State is in first place with 7 points. We are at the top of a 3-way tie for second with 6 points.
Thank you, UIC, for beating Drake.
Yes.
That is huge for us. We need to send UIC a gift basket.
A gift basket.
Dude,
I don't think so.
we're talking like, gift cards like Starbucks, freaking, I don't know. Not me Google searching how much a gift
And then
basket is.
Valparaiso is in 5th place with 4 points. This is where it gets kind of interesting in my opinion. Evansville and Murray State have 3 ties, so they have 3 points, but only 5 teams, half the teams in this conference have won a game after 3 match days. So our table is very split, top half, bottom half, in my opinion. So we'll see how that develops. Notable games for match day 4 and 5. I'm just gonna start talking top of the table matchups. We have Drake and Missouri State.
That's this weekend?
Sorry, I scrolled too far.
I just about to say, there's no shot that's this
Missouri State is playing the next 3 games as Valparaiso, UIC, and Drake. So those are all going to be games to look for. Today, the games to look out for: Drake versus Indiana State, obviously our next opponent there, and then Missouri State and Valparaiso. That's a clash of top teams. Sunday, really the only other game that we should be paying attention to is Missouri State and UIC, probably.
That'll be a good game.
And yeah, after that Sunday game, we are technically halfway through the conference schedule, so the table will be pretty well developed by then.
I really like the Southern Illinois State game. The battle for last place.
It might be, yeah. And there's a couple other things before we close. UNI is 84th in the RPI rankings. We pretty much maintain our position. I mean,
Yeah.
out of 348 teams, that's a negligible difference. So
Yeah.
I think we dropped technically 2 places.
Yeah, because
I don't know.
originally we were 75th, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, actually, you know how we don't update it till next week? We're going to update UNI and drop them 7 spots
Yeah.
out of the blue,
So-
even though we're not supposed to.
Yeah. So
Thanks.
Drake dropped out of the top 100.
Thanks.
They're now 147. Missouri State also out of the top 100 at 114. So we're the only team in the top 100.
Right, we deserve it.
Southern Illinois moves up into the top 300. They're now 297.
Even after losing 2 games.
Yeah. So there must just be worse teams out there. But
Good.
so we're the highest in our conference by 30 spots exactly. And the last thing, we have some MVC honors.
Oh my gosh, how could we forget? I was looking up gift baskets for UIC, and
Why?
I was going to mention that, but no, that's more important. You
Go ahead.
You have it pulled up.
I've been talking, but yeah, I could. There you go. So, the MVC announces 4 players every week: a player of the week, a goalkeeper of the week, defensive player of the week, and a freshman of the week. This week, UNI has 2 players on that list. So we take up half the slots. We have a freshman of the week, number 14, Olivia Bull.
Are you wearing? Oh my gosh, you're wearing a number 14 shirt, a practice shirt.
So Olivia Bull with her first honors, MVC honors as freshman of the week, and coming off the brace versus Southern Illinois, we have Olivia Knuffley.
And an assist against UIC.
That's right. So what's that? 5 points. Because goals count as 2, assists that count as 1.
That's weird, but yeah.
Yeah, so 2 goals and an assist this week. Olivia Knuffley takes the Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Week award.
Yeah, in your face, everyone else in the Missouri Valley. Take that.
You suck. We could actually say that because our RPI ranking is the highest, so technically everyone's worse than us.
Hey, by default, man. That's all I'm gonna say. All right. Any last words? As of right now, the game for Sunday will be a pink out. I don't know if you saw the PSP polls, but everyone wants a pink out instead of a gold out or a black out for our theme. So hopefully it stays that way.
Interesting. Actually, I've not seen the poll at all.
Oh.
I didn't even know it was posted as a poll. I thought you just told me it was pink.
It's a poll. Oh, that's right. You've been busy today. So
yeah.
This is like the first time you've even touched your phone. Pretty much. Lick.
Alright.
Anyways, any last words? I feel like I already asked that.
Go Cats. Looking forward to how the table develops. I think we're close to the top, and the only bad thing is most teams in the conference are going to be a game in hand as we have this bye. But so points wise will be a little bit lower, but definitely have a lot of potential this year. Honestly, only 1 or 2 key wins from a top playoff spot. So we'll talk more about that in the future as we get closer.
100%. Yeah, come out to watch UNI women's soccer this year because they're really good this year. We're excited.
So special, yeah.
It's a good thing we started the podcast this year because we're smiling every week. We're proud to be UNI soccer fans, and we've always been proud. But
I honestly look back on the seasons. I don't know how he did it, dude. I don't know how he followed this team for 2 years and they're winning 6 games a year. That seems so foreign. 9 wins, 1 loss,
1 tie.
Literally, it's hard to imagine losing. I know this is weird to say, and more losses I'm sure will come, unfortunately, but
maybe 1 or 2.
Hopefully not, but it was something that was just so common the first 2 years. I don't know how he stuck with this, but here we are.
Season 3 of PSP, and yeah, we're chilling.
We're mega chilling.
Anyways, thank you guys for watching another fantastic episode of the Panther Soccer Podcast. Tune in on Monday where we interview Sydney Bursky.
Yeah.
The what?
I always want to call her the Burkinator, but it'd be Burskinator.
The Burskinator.
And that doesn't roll off the tongue as well.
Yeah, we tried.
Yeah. Number 11 on the field, number 11 in my heart. Sydney Bursky.
No, that's so mean.
She wears number 11.
Yeah, but she's number 11 in your heart?
Because she wears number 11.
Alright, whatever.
It's not that deep.
We need to stop the podcast before we say something controversial.